So we've used the default inner join, we've created a left join, we've created a right join, and now we are going to do a self join query. So this one is going to be a brand new one. I'm going to go into query design. We're going to add the technician table twice. So we're purposefully adding this twice. And then let's close out of show table and resize a little bit. That way we can see everything. And we are going to be creating an alias for the second table. So to do this, we're going to right click on the table and go into properties. And the alias that we are going to create is not technicians1. We're going to change it so that it is supervisors. Okay, and you'll notice once we change that alias, the title changes. So we're going to close the property sheet. And then we are going to create a join between these two tables. We are going to drag the field Tier 2 Supervisor from the technician table, and we're going to drag that to the Tech ID field. So let's go ahead and do that, and that is going to join the tables. Then what we're going to do is add the first and last name from the technician table, okay, from the original technician table, I should say. It's a little weird because they're kind of duplicates of each other, but we want from our first table, first and last name. Then we're going to add the last name from the supervisor table. And then we're going to run the query. And when we run this, what's going to happen is the last names for supervisors are going to be, they're going to represent the Tier 2 supervisor last names. Okay? We're not going to see a duplicate technician name. And that's because of the join that we created. So let's go ahead. We're going to save this first. And the name is going to be Tier 2 Supervisors. And let's run it. And you can see that the last names are indeed different. But it's a little confusing still because the field name, last name displays twice. So let's go back into our design grid. And we are going to right click on this second name and go to properties. And for a caption, we're going to enter Tier 2 Supervisor, just to make this a little bit more clear that the second name is the supervisor's name. And then let's save this and run it again. And that actually makes a little bit more sense. And at this point, we are done with this self-join query, and we can close it. Now, just so you can understand how it's pulling these supervisor names, let's take a look at the technician table. What you're going to notice is that Tier 2 supervisor is actually pulling the names from this table because the supervisors are also technicians. So down here for the third record, Blewett is a supervisor to Pat Hines. And then if we look at number 6, Brody Stewart is a supervisor to Hui Chin. Okay, so that is basically all this is doing. Okay, it's kind of looking at these numbers and it's pulling the name of that supervisor, that person. So that is what our self join is doing. Okay, so we've got the tier 2 supervisor, which is numeric. We've connected that based on the tech ID. And so the name it's pulling is based on the numbers for the tier 2 supervisor. Okay, so that kind of explains how it's working and why we're getting the names that we are. So at this point, if you've got all of these tables open, you can close all of them, and we're going to move on to the next query.